What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some interesting news to talk to you guys about today, and it's car payments. So I want to read this to you guys. This is talking about car payments in the US and how you have a lot of people who are committing to car payments over $1,000 or $1,000 or more, which is really, really shocking when you think about a car payment that's $1,000 or more. Some situations, even go back 10 years, rent was like $1,000 for a lot of people. And you might still have some people who are paying $1,000 for rent. But just think now, your car, you're paying $1,000. And some households actually have two cars. So if you have two cars, that means you're paying $2,000 just for your car payments. So I want to read this. This was on CNBC, and they were basically just kind of giving a brief overview, and they showed a map here of how, and I'll show you guys all this information of who's paying $1,000, who's paying over $1,000, and who's paying less. So let me just read this. It says car shoppers are paying more than ever to finance new vehicles, according to a report by auto site Edmunds. During the second quarter, more than 1 in 4 vehicle shoppers in Texas and Wyoming committed to paying more than $1,000 a month, according to the report. More than 1 in 5 shoppers in 7 other states, Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Utah, are also forking over more than $1,000 for their vehicle each month, Edmunds found. So as you can see, this is a huge problem. And it's really shocking to think that people are paying that much. Now, what does this mean? How does this affect people down the road? And I always look at this because when you're looking at the average salary and you look at those stats, they're not really jumping up that much. Okay, so they're not increasing as fast as inflation is increasing, as fast as all the stuff that's going on right now when it comes to interest rates and all of that. And so now you have people stuck with these large car payments, and in a lot of situations they can't get out of them. You get in a car payment that's $1,000 or over $1,000 a month, you can't get out of them because you can't sell the car. You're going to end up losing money if you try to sell the car because the car's not worth that much. And so, I have a friend that was in that situation. Luckily, she found a way to get out of it, but it's very, very hard for a lot of people, and it's only getting worse when it comes to the car market. You can go right now and look for cars, and you'd be amazed at how expensive they are. We're talking about cars that are $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 for a car. It's absolutely mind-boggling why people are paying that much for cars. I mean, we need to get to a point where it's like, okay, I can't afford this SUV. I'm not going to buy it. You have enough people not buying these vehicles, and guess what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to drop the prices. And we're seeing a little bit of that now. I think the car industry is really going to struggle for the next several years because they hike these prices up way too high. And now people are going to be either losing these cars or they're just going to stop buying cars and just use the cars that they have. If you notice, the auto repair industry is booming. And anytime I go now to take my car, because I don't have a new car, so I take it to get it fixed every once in a while, it seems like those prices are really inflated. And that is because you have a lot of people who are realizing, look, I can't buy a new car, so I'm going to have to stick with what I have. And if I stick with what I have, I'm going to have to get it fixed from time to time. These auto repair shops know that, and so now they're just hiking those prices up. And so it's either you get a new car, you're paying over $1,000 a month, or you keep your old car, and if it needs repairs, you're going to be forking out a lot of money just to repair it. So that's what I'm finding right now when I go and get my car fixed. And I've been the last several months, I've gone a couple of times to get it fixed, and it's been over $1,000 just to get it fixed. So, I mean, you really can't win. The consumers can't win, and because you're always going to have someone trying to extract more money from you if they see that there's an advantage in doing that. So it's very, very scary right now. And I always think when I'm looking at these stories, I'm always thinking about the fact that things are only getting worse for a lot of people. They're not getting better. And because of that, people are going to struggle now, and then they're going to struggle in the future. You're not going to be able to save up for retirement. There are going to be a lot of things that you're not going to be able to do because things are too expensive. How can you save up for retirement if you're paying over $1,000 for a car payment? And like I said, if you're a family of 4, a family of 5, and you have 2 cars, you could be potentially paying $1,000 or even $1,500. Let's say you have a vehicle that's cheaper, but then you also have one of those vehicles that's over $1,000. $1,500 a month? That's rent in a lot of people's situations, and you're paying that just for a car payment. And the car is depreciating as soon as you drive it off the lot. We all know that. And so if you get to a point where you want to sell that car, now you can't even sell the car and get anything for it because you're upside down. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future when it comes to the car industry. And I've been watching it very closely because I would like to buy a car. Maybe I'm going to wait at least a year, maybe 2 years. We'll have to see. So I'm trying to stretch the car that I have. I'm trying to get the most out of it right now because I know that if I were to try to get a car right now, it's going to be, the interest rates are just way too high and it's just not worth it. So if I can struggle with the car that I have, luckily right now I'm retired and I plan to stay retired so I don't have to drive to and from work. So I only really need my vehicle to go to the grocery store and do little things around my city, and so I don't have to drive far. So if I do have issues, I can kind of delay getting the repairs done because I don't need my car every day. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm really going to be looking at this because this is another thing that is hurting a lot of Americans because things are just way too expensive and they're not getting any cheaper. I talk about the food industry all the time. I talk about buying food, groceries, and things like that. Those prices are continuing to go up. In certain areas, they're continuing to go up. Certain areas, they're dropping, but you have a lot of areas where it's more expensive. You know, food is more expensive. Food is a necessity. We all need food. And so we don't have an option. Just like I was saying, you have an option when it comes to a vehicle. You don't have to have a vehicle. In some cities, they're walkable, so you don't need a vehicle, or you can take the metro and things like that. But when it comes to food, you need food. And so you have to buy it. So if the prices are expensive the way they are right now, you're going to have to just spend the money. And so we'll have to follow these stories and see where they go. But CPI score will be coming out September 13th. So I'll let you guys know about inflation and how to prepare for what to do in situations when it comes to the food costs and things like that. I always go over that list, so I'll let you guys know that on September 13th. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.